This is the time of the season where we're going to see some rookies pop off or at least get some opportunities to succeed. And you're going to want to have at least a few of them or one of them on your team just in case they pop off at the end of the year. I know we've been stashing these guys off and on this whole season long, hoping that this time's going to arrive. But usually, middle to the end of the season, after the bye week, that is when we see a bump up in usage in some of these rookies. And there's a lot of indicators for Rachaad White right now that he could see an increased role in the near future, maybe in the next few weeks. Right now, he's rostered in just 51% of leagues on Sleeper. So about half the leagues, he's on the waiver wire. So if he's available, you may want to look at getting him if you have a spot to stash a player. If you can drop one of your running backs, your wide receivers, and don't feel bad about it, getting a player that you may be taking an L on for a few weeks or possibly the whole year just to see what happens if he hits his upside or get the opportunity. But yesterday against the Rams, he had 11 touches to Fournette's 14, a 34.5% snap share. And the 3 weeks prior, Fournette has been dropping off. And this is more about Fournette than Rachaad White. We know what Rachaad White can do, kinda, because we've seen him do some stuff on the field already this year. But Fournette has been dropping off as of recently. In the 3 weeks prior to yesterday, he's only forced 7 missed tackles, only had 106 rushing yards, 2 yards after contact per attempt, 0 carries of 10 yards or more. So the pop's not really there. The yards aren't getting there on those big chunk plays. The bye week for Tampa Bay is week 11. And if this continues, then they're probably going to have to assess what they want to do with the touch distribution. White has 20 catches on the season. He is averaging a reception on 11.9% of his snaps. So if he just sees a small increase in workload, he is going to hold some value in PPR. If he sees a larger value in workload, he's going to have some value in fantasy. High-end RB2, maybe low-end RB1 numbers, who knows? But his usage in the passing game is huge in fantasy, especially if you're in a PPR league. Remember, he was the top running back in the draft when it comes to his receiving profile. Had 43 receptions last year on 203 routes ran, and ran 11.2% of his snaps in the slot. He had 2.25 yards per route run, 1,000 rushing yards, and 15 touchdowns. This guy was productive in college, has the draft pedigree, has the athleticism, 4.48 40-yard dash, 84th percentile size adjusted speed score, weighs 214 pounds. So we have the athleticism, we have the receiving profile, we have the draft pedigree, we have enough to anoint this guy if he gets the touches and if he gets the opportunity to prove himself. He's already shown some flashes this season. We've seen enough. We just need him to get the touches. This makes him a stash. This makes him a good stash to have in fantasy, because if he gets touches down the road, something's happening to Fournette, then Rachaad White could pop off later. And that is something you want to have on the back end of your roster. I look at him as a high-end stash. I haven't talked about him as much because I figure he's been over-talked about by everybody else because he's been such a trendy stash over the season. On the waiver wire for 50% of leagues, that should be an indicator that you should go out and look for him. I think that's a good price. Get him off the waiver wire now. Be ahead of the market before something happens. I bet a lot of people are going to be talking him up a little bit this week once they start looking at the snap share, the touch distribution, and that week 11 bye where things tend to happen after the bye week. Rachaad White's receiving profile, I think his price is going to increase where you're going to have to fight for him off waivers. You might as well get him now instead of having to fight for him later when he starts showing more signs of life. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you trying to get Rachaad White, see one of your top stashes, or are you trying to stash somebody else? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping videos like this to help you out on waivers, stashes, trades, and whatever else I can find on this channel. Also, hit this video right here so you can learn about this wide receiver that's starting to blow up. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.